relationship like now with Tommy? Are you in touch with him at all, or do you
I mean, text here and there. You know, nothing too crazy. I mean, he's married and happy, and she's good to him, and I totally support that and think that's great. So, I mean, I hate to be annoying and going through this again. I'm pretty sure she's annoyed, but I respect their relationship and just glad he's happy and he has somebody in his life.
Do your boys like him, or are they estranged? Yeah. They do.
No,
they like him.
No, they see him all the time. They see him all the time, and I think that this movie too is kind of like a love letter to their parents. They know they come from true love. They want people to see the real story. And I thought that was kind of cute and kind of charming and really, you know, Brandon is very artistic and really wanted to show the story from a real, true, authentic perspective.
It was really well done, and I enjoyed it. Sometimes I found myself going, I wonder if I said to Pam, well, do you have any regrets? Like, do you think there were certain things in life, or would you just do it all over the same exact way? Was it a fun ride, or was it tragic or miserable? How do you assess it?
It was all of it, but it was more good times than bad. And I wouldn't do it any other way. I mean, I just feel like it was just this wild ride. And I made it home in one piece. I came back to the place I grew up in. I bought the house of my grandmother, and I'm living in it. And I'm looking at my life from the same place my feet touched the ground when I was a baby. I mean, I look at it all like a movie.
Do you think women learn from their mistakes typically?
Maybe they have to be repeated again and again to learn, I think.
I think they learn eventually.
Yeah. It's difficult to learn things from the first time of making a mistake. I think so.
I think it depends on the woman. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. I think it depends on the woman and where she is in her life. Probably not, but there are some who do.
Mm-hmm. Mm. But in general, you would say no.
I mean, I can only, for me, I learned, but in general, I probably think no.
No. What do you think?
Most women are in a vicious cycle.
It just never ends.
Yeah. They're chasing something.
What do you guys think? Do you think in general women learn from their mistakes or no?
Like I said, eventually. But it takes a while to get there.
How many times?
I'd say on average maybe 3.
3 times.
It's very specific.
3 times for how many years?
Oh.
How many months?
I'd say 3 times with the person. Like I feel like
after in the terms third of learning, time you break up.
Yeah, I feel like in terms of learning your mistakes as well, it comes into growing up and your age and stuff. Like the same chances I would have given someone, I don't know, a few years ago, I wouldn't give them now. Like now it would take me longer to learn. I mean, take me quicker to learn than it would have before. If that makes sense.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on where you are in your stage of growth and what you have experienced before and how you've reflected on that.
Do you think men should date women that have dated bad boys in the past?
Men should date women.
Do you think that men should date women that have dated bad boys in the past?
Why not?
I think they might have an attitude, women who date bad boys in the past.
Well, I don't have an attitude.
I think that there's pros and cons to it.
We're not talking about you. We're talking about in general.
In general, I think that there are pros and cons to it. I think for a man who dates a woman who has dated a bad boy in the past, you would hope or you would think that she would learn from the mistakes of the bad boy and appreciate the good guy, right? And then on the flip side of that, I guess there is a negative, because a guy who dates a woman who has dated a bad boy before, she will have this
trauma,
or she may bleed on him when he didn't cut her, if that makes sense. So I feel like there's pros and cons to it.
So it's like almost the men of the future have to pay for the mistakes of her past.
I feel like everybody has to pay for the mistakes of people's past if you're not healing from it and you're not learning from it, for sure.
I mean, I'm sure we've all at some point had a guy that's like trying to go through your phone because some girl cheated on him before.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Taking your thumb and unlocking your phone when you're sleeping. Yeah, all of that stuff. Experienced it all.
Yeah.
I think it's more high risk for a guy, obviously, to get involved with a woman that's had a bad past. But a lot of men do like to play the hero.
Do you know what I feel like? I feel like even though... Sorry, do you want to go?
That's why they say save a hoe. That's what I was thinking. Captain Save a hoe.
I was being polite.
That's what I was thinking. Sorry, go ahead.
Funny enough, even though men come across with the stronger personalities than us, I feel like when it comes to relationships and being emotional, I feel like they are kind of more fragile in the sense where one woman will hurt a man and it will stay with him for his whole life. Whereas with a woman, even though we do get hurt and it will take us a while to get over it, we're not going to portray that in every single situation.
Who talks about our exes more, men or women?
Women.
The hurt party.
But we might talk about it, but their demeanor will change. Like the way they act and the way they actually carry themselves will change because of one relationship. That's what I've seen.
So do you think that men are not as resilient as women? Or do you think that men in certain situations allow themselves to be vulnerable, allow themselves to trust a woman, and she shits on it, and that's why it hits him just as hard? Because that is not a man's default necessarily.
Do you think maybe they just learn what works and what doesn't? You know, men are problem solvers.
Do you know what it is?
So if they treat a woman like a queen and she treats him like shit, and then they realize, oh, if I treat her worse, she treats me better.
Do you know what I think? I think when it comes to
I'm gonna pick.
When it comes to thinking, I think men think with logic. Women obviously think with emotion. I feel like emotionally, it's easier to heal yourself than logically, because I feel like logically you're going to be thinking, okay, so the past two women did this to me. I need to now watch out for this in the third one. Whereas where certain women are emotional, it's going to be, I don't know, they're going to be more prone to forgive, if that makes sense. I find it, and to move on, if that also makes kind of sense.
Yeah, no, it does make sense. I get where you're coming from, and I definitely think that women, you know, it's biology. Women operate from, you know, the emotional side, and men tend to operate from the logical side. But I think that, I don't know, I'm definitely an emotional woman. I feel everything very intently, but my experiences have led me to be very logical in my decision making, right? So it's like, I can sit around and I can be upset that my relationship ended, or let's say hypothetically a guy cheated on me, right? I can sit around and, oh my God, he cheated, but I just feel so worthless. What was it? Or I can, okay, cool, look. Oh, all right, that's not really the best example to give, but you can look at something logically and be accountable and forgive yourself, and then you don't need to chase the whole emotion thing, if that makes sense. The whole, I kind of know where I was going with it, but I didn't really land it well.
I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, I feel like, cool, in the same situation where we would be on the emotional side of things, like I said, a guy will now be logically thinking, okay, so cool, this girl has done this to me. Now I'm gonna do this to prevent this from happening again. And now he's gonna start building up that kind of wall. You get it? Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be a thing where now maybe he didn't used to act like this before, but he acts like this now because of what he's been through. But it's not necessarily emotional. Not necessarily emotional. It's now kind of wired into his brain.
Problem solver.
Yeah, it's a problem solver.
It's a problem solver.
So this was the problem, and this is how I'm going to solve the problem by not letting anyone else in.
It's like I can get the youngest, hottest women by treating them like shit. Because
that's what they want, or that's at least what they're alluding to what they want.
Yeah.
I think the only exception to that in about talking about exes is when a man's been divorced. I think that they do that really plays on their mind, and that's very difficult for them to move past.
Mm-hmm.